welcome back to another video. My name's Destiny. I do book things here, and today we're going to do my May wrap-up. Actually, my brain was going to do a different one, but I'm gonna do my May wrap-up real quick because it's just a quick, easy video to get out for you guys so you can know what I've been reading in May. There are a few of these I have full reviews for that I will leave linked, or I have a full review coming, so I'm not going to elaborate too much on them, but let's get into it. So the first thing I finished this month was Stiff by Mary Roach. It's about human cadavers and what happens to you if you donate your body to science. I thought it was really interesting. They don't give you a choice of what happens to your body. You just donate it to science and they use it however, and it's because they don't know how you're going to be used. You may end up in an anatomy lab where they basically cut you open for students to learn about the different parts of the body, and surgeons sometimes use bodies to practice new techniques and things. So it was a really interesting read. I usually don't rate nonfiction, so I didn't rate this one. If you have a morbid sense of curiosity like I do, I highly recommend picking this one up. Yeah, so morbid sense of curiosity, definitely pick that one up. It was very informative and very educational. I found it super interesting. I listened to it on audio, so I listened to it while I just like did things around the house. It wasn't too gory to the point where I couldn't listen to it and do something else. I also will say that I love her non-opinionated, filtered report of this. Like, she doesn't filter that it stunk. Like, she tells you it stunk in there, or I was very uncomfortable, or this person looked at me like I was half crazy when I asked this question. I absolutely love that about this. Next I ended up finishing Finding Me by Viola Davis. I'm not doing these in the order I finished them in, just the order they're in front of me. So I ended up finishing this. This is her memoir that came out this year. I love this. Like I said, I don't normally rate nonfiction. I gave this 5 stars. Just knowing the struggle she went through and everything she overcame was super inspiring. She talks about some of her childhood that I went through as well, and that just made me feel seen. And the way she explains it is how it was explained to me when I was a kid. So I absolutely loved this. I will be buying my own copy. I have even I listened to this audibly. I didn't even read it physically. I listened to this audibly. I stopped the audiobook to go get it from the library so I could tab certain sections. And in my reading journal, I actually have notes and quotes written down from this. And I don't normally do that. I love this. I gave it 5 stars, and if you have not picked this up, I highly recommend you do. If you don't know who Viola Davis is, she played in The Help. She was I can't think of the maid's name. She was the main maid, and she also is Annalise Keating in How to Get Away with Murder. So I saw this. I loved How to Get Away with Murder. I'm not caught up. Let me not even lie. I'm not caught up, but I love the first 2 seasons, and the rawness that she brought to the character, I absolutely loved, and now I understand where that came from, and I loved this. Next on my stack that I finished was Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. So this one was a book of the month pick for me. It was my March pick. I had to think. No. It was my March pick. I had to think, because the book of the month for that month had this and The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, and I have both of them, but I did Lucy Foley the next month. So I got this in March. I actually finished this pretty quickly, and I loved it. I did have a few qualms with the characters. There is a full review coming for this one later this month. I ended up giving it, I think, 4 stars if I remember correctly. I'll link the review down below when it comes out for you to go check it out. But I honestly enjoyed it. It was a wonderful ride. If you've not heard of this one, this is all about Shay. Shay is a nighttime blogger, crime blogger. So she investigates cold cases. Her blog is called The Book of Cold Cases. And one day she looks up and an acquitted murderer from 1977 is sitting in her day job, which is sitting in the doctor's office, which is her day job. She's a receptionist. She chases down Beth, asks Beth for an interview, and Beth agrees. In 1977, 2 men were killed, and the cops believe Beth did it. They did not have any physical evidence tying her to it. They had 2 notes that were written in a lady's handwriting, and a drunk witness that claims that he saw Beth speeding away from the second murder, and that's literally all they have. This was so atmospheric. Like, the first half of it was so atmospheric, and you're like left wondering what is really going on here. It has the haunted house vibes. Like, I highly recommend this. If you like haunted houses, if you like kind of a twist and turns, you'll like this one. I did not see the ending coming. I guessed it kind of midway through. I did guess who did it at the very beginning. Like, I guessed that straight up. But I did not guess like the real ending, the twists and turns, until I didn't guess it at all. So highly recommend. Okay, so next book I finished was Covet by Tracy Wolff. I'm not going to go into much detail because this is the 3rd in the Crave series, and I have a full Crave review coming. That's already out actually before this video, so I will tag it below and leave it in the cards. This one was so good. I am giving it 5 stars. Now, I have seen, since I was writing a blog, I had to look up photos for this one and for Crave, and I have saw a lot of people like their reviews, 1-star reviews and stuff, and I really don't agree. This is definitely a YA series. This is definitely not perfect. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I loved it. I was a Twihard back in the day. I loved Twilight. I actually reread Twilight recently and absolutely loved it all over again. I love it for its ridiculous cliche-ness. And the same thing I love this for. It does poke a lot of fun at Twilight, and it is very cliche, but it's so good. It's one of those guilty pleasure reads for me. Like I was saying, this is definitely a guilty pleasure read for me. I have the 4th one in my room. I will be reading it pretty soon, and I love it. I have nothing else to say. I love it. The next thing I finished, and the last thing I finished this month actually, is Layer of Dreams by Libba Bray. This was so good. I ended up giving it 4 stars. Guys, if you could not get into this series like I couldn't, I honestly had a lot of trouble getting into the Diviners, and then I had bought Layer of Dreams when I finished Diviners because I liked it enough to go on with the next book, but I didn't remember the first book enough to go into the second one. Definitely pick up the audiobooks. It sings little creepy songs to you. When it talks about a character singing, the narrator actually sings. It's so good. It's worth getting the audiobook of these. I have the next 2, Before the Devil Breaks You and King of Crows, on my shelves now that I will be going into. I'm so excited for those, but I did finish this month. I really didn't give you a synopsis of Crave or this one, so let's do that. This one follows Evie O'Neill. Evie gets in trouble at home and has to go to New York to live with her uncle, who happens to run a paranormal museum. Evie has a secret that she has not told anyone, is that she can read objects. She can read a person's secret via the objects they hold close. So if you give her your earring, or if I give her like my nose ring, she could read my secrets off of that nose ring. And so she ends up going to help her uncle solve murders, and doesn't tell him that she can do this thing. And when she grabs a hold of a murder victim's item, she ends up hearing a creepy little song, and it kind of starts off from there. It's so good. This installment still follows Evie, still all the characters from the first book, but it revolves more around Henry, and what Henry can do, and Henry and Theta's relationship and things like that. I absolutely love this as well. I apologize if you can hear the baby, but that is what I read this month. That's everything except the one, of course, I said that I read audibly and I don't have a copy of with me. But that's everything I read this month. It was a short reading month. Been pretty stressed out and just haven't made time. Hoping to change that next month. And yeah, but I will see you on my next one. Bye, guys.